Hello and welcome to the 27th of November edition of Oxsports Unleashed. I'm Colin Ryde and alongside me today, standing in for Darryl Woods, is Blake Bint. And talk about being chucked in the deep end, Blake. It's got quite a packed show tonight, so what's coming up? Tell everyone what's going to come up.
Yeah, well, we've got plenty of football coverage this week, Colin. Of course, Oxford City as always, and we got them in multiple varieties this week. We've got the men's, we've got the women's on their FA Cup result from the weekend against Swindon. Also some news on their youth team. We've also got exclusive package from when I was down at Town v Gown a couple of weeks ago, along with a live Lyon Ryde special talking about midweek football. No rugby this week, and then we'll of course have our usual cricket and results roundup as well.
Okay, yeah, so we're going to start there with Oxford City, not doing too well, as you'll probably know, in the league as things stand, and it didn't get much better. They picked up a point though at Marine, then midweek, a 4-0 defeat against Telford. No highlights package, probably spare you for those, but we do have Jamie Partington talking after Saturday's result. Here he is now.
Jamie, welcome to Oxford City. Not too many better welcomes than a clean sheet and a player of the match performance. That was pretty incredible out there. How did you find it?
Yeah, it's nice to get going in that manner, really, get the clean sheet, see the lads, and obviously only spend 40 minutes in the change room before going out there and getting to know everyone. But it's kind of nice getting thrown in at the deep end sometimes. You don't really know what's happening, and yeah, clean sheet, kind of take it away from home.
What's it like in the dressing room? You know, you literally met the lads when you're walking up the pitch for the, sort of pre-game inspection you do. You're back in the changing room. Managers setting out the instruction. You know, who's getting around you? What kind of, what information do you have to literally take on board really quickly?
The lads were brilliant. Everyone come in and welcomed me. I spoke to the gaffer yesterday, to be honest, and kind of gave me a sort of clear guideline to how they want to play and how he wants me to play out from the back and other things like that. You've just got to absorb as much information as possible in a short amount of time, really. But kind of for me, I know what I can do, and as long as I do the basics as a goalkeeper, I think you can kind of settle yourself in a little bit within the game, really. So my job just to keep it out the net at the end of the day, and today was quite a nice one, really, yeah.
Thanks to Jamie Partington there, the currently Oxford City goalkeeper on loan from Lincoln City. And of course, if you're a goalkeeper these days, it's just one position in a club. There's usually 2 or 3 goalkeepers there. So you've got to wait your turn there. And if you look at his Wikipedia page, you'll see he's been travelling around the country. Places like Bar City he's been on loan to as well. On loan currently from Lincoln City down at Oxford City. But he's a much travelled lad. So let's hope he settles down at City well. We wish him very well indeed. So, meanwhile, the City women were doing quite well, weren't they, in the Women's FA Cup until last weekend, Blake?
Yeah, unfortunately, every dream comes to an end. Colin, Oxford City had done really well to reach the FA Women's Cup second round for just the first time in their history, and they had a tough draw against Swindon Town. Patrick and I went down to a training session last Tuesday, as you would have seen in last week's show, to speak to their manager, who was quiet about his side's chances against Swindon, and unfortunately they were on the wrong end of that result. That was 3-0 to Swindon, who are a league above, and I think that showed in the result. However, there was some good news for Oxfordshire sides in that same round, because Oxford United women, who were playing in a double header at the M Group Stadium on that day on Sunday last week, they beat Luton Town 3-1, and the succeeding draw was done at Oxford City, the M Group Stadium, on Monday night, where Oxford United found out their fate for round 3, and they've got Plymouth Argyle, who are in fact in the same division, so definitely a chance for United's women to have a cup run there. But Oxford City youth have been going well, haven't they, Colin?
They have been going well, but just before we leave the Oxford City women, they had a record crowd down there, over 700, which is good news, I think so. And it just shows you again how popular women's football is becoming, and long may it continue. Yeah, Oxford City Youth Cup, they beat, I think, Waterman Hersham, hope I pronounced that correctly, 2-0. And that means it's up on the screen. I can see it. Woohoo! That's a relief. And they've got QPR next, so that's a good tie there for them to look forward to. Plenty of good work going on down at City with the youth teams coming through, both men and women. Okay. All right, next up then, we've got Blake and Town and Gown. Blake.
Yes, so if you were tuning in to the show last week, as I mentioned, I was down at City doing some filming with the women. And the week before, if you saw that show, there was a first for Oxsports Unleashed as I went live from the M Group Stadium for reports from Town v Gown. While I was there, I spoke to various people, including Oxford City captain Josh Ashby, and here's a package that I made from that day. Oxford City have had a struggling start to life in the National League North for a second consecutive season. One highlight on the club's calendar is the Town v Gown match against Oxford University. Here at Marsh Lane is a club rich in history. Oxford City founded way back in the 19th century. Town v Gown started in 1895 and was an annual occurrence until an on-off break saw it only return last year. Josh Ashby has been at the club 7 years and is now club captain. He played in just his second Town and Gown last week.
We've got a good relationship with the uni as a club. We've done stuff there last year. We kind of done a leadership course with the university last year, and yeah, it's always a pleasure when the two teams and people come together, and yeah, a good event.
Despite being a globally prestigious university, playing this fixture is one of the biggest days of the year for this side.
It's always a big honour to be a part of such a fixture like this. Any time putting on the Oxford Uni uniform is an honour, because you know what it means, what it represents, how Mickey Lewis created such a philosophy for the club, and to carry that on is a big, very big honour, and I feel very proud to be able to keep the boys going in that trajectory.
After last year's fixture finished 5-0 to Oxford City, this year looked similar. Oxford City opening the score in inside 1 minute. However, that's how the scoreline remained for the full 90, and both sides were impressed with the students' performance.
It was a real good competitive game. I was surprised at how good the uni were. They're much better from last year, and I worked with the coach Owen, so for us it's never a friendly, and it's who wants to get the bragging rights.
They played the first half some of the better football. I think we managed to get 3 shots on goal and kept them to 2, and I think we played some lovely football. We were brave. We weren't afraid of making that mistake in our own areas, and if we did, then we knew we just had to work harder.
It sounds silly, but sometimes it's a cliche, you can score too early and you get a little bit comfortable, but yeah, obviously I'd rather start like that every single game.
Oxford University may have won the FA Cup in 1874, but now they just play against other universities on a Wednesday afternoon. However, that hasn't changed their ambitions or potential.
A lot of my boys are football mad. They love football. They've just known that they're smarter in their areas. I've told them, it's always something I tell them to show a manager like Ross Jenkins, who has the connections and the knowledge, show them what you can bring to a team. So I said, hey, you might have come to Oxford for your studies, but you might finish as a football player.
Oxford City women, however, they have only started Town v Gown in recent years. Their manager has seen huge improvement.
Yeah, Town v Gown is an interesting experience for the first time for myself, and for a lot of the girls, to be fair. When we sort of looked at the fixture, we think, okay, it's going to be a really competitive opposition who are going to be pulled in from different backgrounds because of the academic pool. So they're going to be a lot coming from the States, some coming from Europe. So that pool will often provide a different challenge to what we normally face. So I think for a lot of the girls, it's nice to have that experience, one, playing under the lights for the first time, but also going against an opposition that we genuinely know nothing about. Despite the new opposition and the friendly status, Leon Harris didn't hold back as City won 7-0. He explains why he chose his best 11. There's got to be a respect value to it. I mean, in my opinion, the most respectful thing to do is play your strongest. Play your strongest, approach the game as professionally as possible. If we're very lackadaisical about it, I think we've almost put the occasion into disrepute.
So what about the historic event going forward? For City's men, it's important minutes and an opportunity to control a game. For the university sides and City's women, it's a chance to show yourself, even if the schedule doesn't help you.
We had a cup game which we needed to win to retain our silverware from last year, and going 120 minutes, I had about 5 or 6 lads struggling today that had to pull out, but the 2 players that came up showed why they need to be looked at and why they're also competing to move up. So there they did their just deserve there. They did well, but I'd like to see us play them with a full squad. I think if we can host it at our ground, Iffley, where there's so much history, where we won the FA Cup.
I think for the women's, it's more so finding its feet in terms of, can it become a structured part of your year, where it's something you can build towards and look to use it a bit more tactically. Yeah, and I think
No, that's right.
if we have it as an annual affair, I think it's definitely a test we don't get in the league. I think there was a lot of really good athletes on the pitch. I think that challenges us in a really different way from a physical capacity. I think where we maybe don't get as much experience of that in the league, it then adds a different tool to us.
While the university may have more history, City have the bragging rights in the 130th anniversary of Town v Gown.
Thanks to Blake Binton there for that great interview down at Oxford City with the Town and Gown. And Blake was on last week. We tried something new, didn't we? We tried to get him to do a live interview at half time. And the first time we phoned him, he went to answer phone, which I thought was hilarious, okay, so. But we did get through to him in the end, and it was a good piece. It would have been so funny if it worked first time. Yeah, it would have been, yeah. I mean, we just thought we'd try something different, and it did work in the end, like most things. So, right. Meantime, well, Oxford City having a really bad season so far. Nothing could further from the truth for Kelvin Langley's Banbury United. They beat Alvechurch on the road at 2-0. Followed that up with a 3-1 hammering of Royal Bedford as well. So we've got an interview with Kelvin Langley after the Bedford game, and here it is.
Your opinions on tonight's game, Kelvin?
Look, I'm disappointed, obviously, but you know, it's not doom and gloom. You know, the way I'm sort of looking at this is we've come to Royal Bedford here, who are, from their last 12 league games have won 10, drawn 2, by far the best team we've come up against. We created our game plan perfectly first half, frustrated them, did what we've been doing to teams of late, but we didn't really have a clinical edge to us today. Our quality wasn't quite there, and then to concede really early on in the second half, where we just switched off. It was just a lapse, and the boy, it was a great finish, but it changes things. They got a bit more momentum in the game, got ourselves back in it, and again we just give up a sloppy goal again for the third one. So it became a little bit more disjointed. But overall, the lads have been absolutely tremendous over the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks, and we won't move away from where we're at and what we're doing. A disappointing night, and it was always going to come a point where the way we were setting up and how we were going to go about it, the team was going to undo us. And to be fair, if it was ever going to be a team, it'd probably be Royal Bedford. They're very good on the ball, they're happy to have the ball. We kept good shape for the most part, just we didn't have enough quality when we really needed it, and we gave up goals too easily tonight.
Well, first blooper of the evening. Sorry about that, because in fact Banbury did lose to Royal Bedford 3-1 on Tuesday night. So Kelvin Lang was clearly disappointed in that one. Up until then, it's been going very well, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's not really a disgrace to lose to Royal Bedford. They're flying as well, and they're third in the league. So yeah, to lose to them, not particularly bad results.
No, okay, indeed. So and of course there are more than one Bedford, aren't there? I think there's 3. Can get very confusing, can't you?
And as we found out a few weeks ago when we went there with Oxford City, they're literally back onto each other.
Do they really?
So they are on the same complex. And Bedford were playing Oxford City, and Royal Bedford were playing as well. So it was rather chaos with 2.
What's the third one? There's a 3, aren't there? I think there's 3. I think there are 3 Bedfords.
I don't know about the third one. But,
all right, okay.
But I know certainly Bedford Town and Royal Bedford back onto each other.
And I wonder how many people have turned up the wrong one.
Yes, I mean we were wondering whether it counted as a groundhog or whether it counted as a double tick, because you can see through the trees.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's cheating as hell. Okay, right, next up then we've got Fixture Focus to find out what local football fans have got to look forward to this coming weekend. Normally we do this recorded, but doing it live, aren't we? So What's coming up then, Mush?
Well, we're actually looking at the results from the midweek because there was a
Are
full,
we?
before
It was going very well until that, wasn't it?
We'll do fixture focus in a minute.
I think so.
Because with the power of editing, we'll find out in a minute that I recorded this a few days ago, the fixture focus. But
it's going well.
Yeah, it was a real full programme of results this midweek. We've already heard about Oxford City the other day, and thankfully I didn't go as an Oxford City. I normally say super fan, but I can't really call myself that this year.
I think you're waning a bit, aren't you now?
Yes, yeah.
Your patience has been tried a little bit.
It did turn out to be a good one to miss. It wasn't a good day for City at Telford. A 4-0 loss, going 2-0 down, 1-0 down in the first 10 minutes, and then there was 3 goals in the second half. And yeah, it's the first time in 10 years that City have been at Telford, and the last time City were there, we lost 4-0 and were 4-0 down in 40 minutes. So not a particularly nice place to go for City.
Can I ask a question? Zach McEachran, injured still or back in the fold?
He's coming back. He's come off the bench the last couple of games, so he's not back to his full best yet. But
Alfie Potter?
Yeah, he's been playing again. He's been kind of off the bench a bit more in recent weeks, but certainly getting back to fitness now. So yeah, it's things are looking up for City.
Well, they can't really look anywhere else, can they?
I was about to say, yeah. But yeah, a few players coming back, and hopefully will look better. But like I say, it's not been a particularly good season for City so far, which is a bit of a shame. But Banbury United, obviously we already heard about that, lost 3-1 to Rail Bedford. I mean, Banbury have been in good form in recent weeks, so... but yeah, to lose to Rail Bedford isn't particularly bad results. Didcot Town, they were on the road. They went to Bishop's Cleeve. They sadly lost out 2-0. Toby Holland scored twice for Bishop's Cleeve there. Tame, they were also in action. They lost 3-1 to Leighton Town. Charlie Stowe with the late consolation for Tame there. But sadly not too much to write home about on Tuesday night so far. We'll have a look at the combined counties because there was 2 Oxfordshire derbies on Tuesday night in the combined counties north. Milton played Kidlington. Milton won 3-0 there. Finn Barker, Jordan Okwesa and Tariq Youssef with the goals for them. And Wallingford travelled away to Abingdon United, and Wallingford kept up their good form, and they're still in second place. Harry Bonner and Tyler de Cruz with the goals there. Ardley United, table-topping Ardley United were in action as well, and they won again. So
wow, I mean, brilliant. Yeah. I mean, they've got games in hand too, haven't they?
Yeah.
So
and they're 4 points clear as well with games in hand. So really good season for them.
And the manager talks well, doesn't he? Yeah,
yes.
When he's got the real enthusiasm about the game. So, and when he talks sense too. So let's hope long may continue.
Yeah. And we know back in his days at Kidlington as well.
Yeah.
We had him on quite a lot, didn't we, with his interviews, and always came across well. So really good to see Ardley doing well, and Wallingford as well, who are second place. So yeah, looking really good for our teams in that division. George Calmeadow with a goal for Ardley. There it was 1-0 as they were away at Edgware in Kingsbury. Edenton Sports were due to play on Tuesday night, but sadly their game was called off for... I didn't actually see what it was called off for, but I'm presuming waterlogged pitch or
I
frozen
think so,
pitch.
yeah.
I can't remember if it was cold or wet on Tuesday.
Well, I think it was wet on Tuesday, cold on Wednesday,
yes.
I think, yeah.
So
that's the end of the weather forecast of the week.
I think we're better at football than weather, to be totally honest.
Yeah, probably,
so that's what happened this midweek. It is time for fixture focus now.
Is it really?
Me, but
are you sure?
I can't really introduce myself, can I? So I better let you do that.
Here is the one and only Patrick Lock with fixture focus for the fixtures for this coming weekend. Patrick.
So we'll move on to fixture focus and have a quick look ahead at what's coming up for local football fans this weekend, and certainly a football feast in Oxfordshire on Saturday with all of our local teams seemingly at home. It kicks off on Friday night. Oxford United host Ipswich Town at the Cassam Stadium at 7:45 kickoff on Sky Sports on TV. Oxford City are at home the following day. They welcome Kingston Town to the M Group Stadium for a 3:00 kickoff. Banbury United also at home. They welcome Stamford in Southern League Premier Central, looking to keep up their recent form at home. Tame United, they welcome Hadley to the ASM Stadium in Southern League Division 1 Central, while Didcot Town complete the set of teams at home. They welcome Frome Town to the Loop Meadow Stadium in Division 1 South. Sunday, and after a big weekend of FA Cup football, all back to league action this weekend. Oxford United women, they are away on Sunday, and actually the only team that we're covering on here who are away this weekend. They travel to Lewis in Women's National League South. Abingdon United, they host Portishead Town in Division 1 Southwest. And Oxford City, they have something of a very rare league game. They seem to be in cup action a lot of the season so far. They host Badshot Lee in Southern Region Women's Football League Premier. That's what's coming up this weekend, and we can now head back to the studio for more Ox Sports Unleashed.
Thanks a lot, Patrick Locke, for that look at the fixtures coming up. Don't forget, it's a Friday night game. Oxford United at home to Ipswich, 8 o'clock kick-off. Don't turn up on Saturday because you'll have missed the game. That would be very silly of you, wouldn't it? So, meanwhile, we did miss out the fact that Lee Bedwell had his 400th game for Didcot Town, I think, during the week or the weekend, I think so. But I'll mention that in passing because I think Patrick forgot to mention that one. But congratulations to Lee Bedwell. Bit like Josh Ashby down at City, these guys are the stalwarts of local football there. And I see Didcot Town are at home this weekend as well. Hopefully we're going to have Daz King on next week's show live with us. Daz is one of the guys down there who does the post-match interviews with Jamie Heapy. Looking forward to having him in to talk about Didcot Town. They're doing pretty well this season. They've had a bit of a bumpy start. To put a few points on the board, especially like going down the West Country. I beat clubs down there, very long journeys, and I think to have part-time players on a coach for 4 or 5 hours, they turn up and put in a shift for them is really, really good stuff. Right.
I have to say, they did have a defeat in Devon at the weekend. They lost to Exmouth Town and
maybe they don't like Devon, they like Cornwall.
Yeah, maybe. Jamie Heapy wasn't too happy, as you can hear on the Oxfordshire Football Roundup podcast, where I sat in with Patrick this week.
Oh, wow,
so just a little plug for that one.
Good man.
As well.
OK, so now we turn from football to cricket, and I'm going to hand over to an expert in the field, Blake Bint.
Well, expert in the field, I'm not sure. I'm not quite Darryl Woods, but I'll give it a go. So, as always, our Oxfordshire representatives have been on the other side of the world in various countries, playing in this past week. So we'll start with Lindsay Smith, as we always do, our England international. She's playing in the Women's Big Bash out in Australia, and she's doing a little bit better than the England men in Australia, which we need not mention because this show is probably going to be longer than the Perth Test. So she had 2 for 33 against the Melbourne Renegades in their 6-run win for the Hobart Hurricanes. She also had 2 for 25 against Sydney Sixers in an 11-run defeat, and 1 for 31 against Melbourne Stars in another defeat there in this past week. So lots of wickets for her, despite some varying results. And she's also been picked up by RCB in the Women's IPL for 2026, as announced today. Moving to Nepal, just slightly up the country, up the globe, longitudinally, I suppose. Ben Charlesworth, he's out there. As you can see a picture of him on your screen. He had 32 for 33, 32 off 33 rather, in this past week. He did have a golden duck as well in a game which his team won. So it's a team game, and he plays tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So if you've got nothing to watch, why not tune in some Nepalese Premier League cricket, where also Matt Taylor's playing his Gloucestershire teammate, Banbury's Matt Taylor, who is yet to play since taking 2 for 48 in his first match. And there's a picture of him there from Nepal's Rhinos Army. His next game is Saturday morning at 5:30. So if 6 o'clock isn't early enough for you, you can always get up at 5:30 on your Saturday morning before your park run or whatever it is you need to do.
I don't do running, Blake. I'm sorry, mate. That's for some reason I don't get on with running at all. So I can't do it. No. I just don't know what it is. But park run's great, and I do commentate on lots of runs. I've said that before in these shows. But and it's a great sport to get into. But I've never got on with running at all, me.
They are very good. Right. But there's the cricket from this week and our players around the world. So let's go back to football, shall we, Colin?
Well, before we do that then, I think we should have a quick chat about Oxsports Unleashed, because if you can do better than this, then why don't you come and join us, because we should have a little scroll underneath to where we can be contacted. There you are. Send any clips you've got to oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. That's oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com, all one word there. We'd love to hear from you. This is all about trying to promote grassroots sport in Oxfordshire. Cricket, football, we've done dodgeball, we've done netball, we've done karting, we've done all sorts of different sports. They're trying to bring the huge amount of sport that's in Oxfordshire to the attention of the good folks in Oxfordshire. And of course, we also like to try and use it as a platform for people to get more experience in the media. And Blake's joining us tonight, standing in for Darryl. So Blake, you've done a media course, a bit like Wes Spearman. What was the course? Where was it?
Yeah, so I did a sports journalism course, same as Wes did, who of course is one of our saviours at Oxsports Unleashed. Without him, we wouldn't have half a show. So yeah, same course as Wes. I did mine at the University of South Wales. So I was down in Cardiff for 3 years, which was great fun. Learned great experiences, broadcasting as well as writing as well. And you know, I probably wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for that course and kind of where I've just asked around to get work, and now it's leading to things where I'm being paid and things like that, which is the dream, isn't it, really? Helps to be paid, I think. So Wes Spearman says it's his dream job to actually be paid to watch cricket. So you've done some work for the ECB down at Gloucester Cricket Club in the summer? Yeah, this summer I was back down in Cardiff for Glamorgan. Glamorgan, sorry. Yeah, no, that's I knew it began with G. I did actually, I did do a bit of work for Gloucester as well on their live stream. I did some commentary. So yeah, working freelance. I've been around a little bit, but yeah, mainly for the ECB this summer I was writing on Glamorgan's home games. And they got promoted into Division 1, so they've got Hampshire next year, Colin. Your old boys. So hopefully that'll make for a good game, and hopefully I'll get that gig next year. I'm yet to be asked, but it's early days, so good man. We'll see. But yeah, no, great experiences, and you know, things I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do if it wasn't for, you know, taking a gamble on giving it a go and just nagging people for work, really. Okay, and so Oxsports Unleashed gives you another platform for more experience, doesn't it? Absolutely, yeah. I mean, of course, this first time presenting this week, standing in for Darryl, but I've been behind the scenes now for a year, doing a lot of the video editing, as you saw the package earlier on, interviews, and yeah, all that good stuff. But it's all just development. It's, you know, you can't get anywhere without practice, and the more you do, the better you're going to get. So Oxsports Unleashed is a great chance to do that, and likewise with Wes, I'm sure he'll be very grateful for what he's done with Oxsports Unleashed to further his career. And Dan Smith as well, who did a lot of stuff with us. Yeah. He went from a similar background as well. So definitely, you know, people who want to get involved, do so. Indeed. So we'll put up the little banner again to make sure you know exactly who we are and where to contact us. Again, if you want to come and join us, and also send our clips in. And we're making Patrick Locke work very hard today, but they are Oxsports Unleashed. I try and, every time I point it, I go the wrong way. I go that way this time around. That's it, down there, you see? oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Right, next up, hopefully, we're going to have the Football League tables, and we shall have a little chat about those as we go through those at the moment. So, Mr. Producer, sir, can we have the tables, please? There we are. Oxford United. Well, they got a point midweek again, a point against Middlesbrough, but a difficult game coming up on Friday night against Ipswich at home again. They need to put a few more points on the board because, look, they are one off the drop zone with Sheffield United there on 13 points and Norwich City and Sheffield Wednesday, so down at the bottom there. So that's where Oxford United are at the moment. Need to pick up points and move away from the relegation zone as fast as possible. Next slide, please, young man. Yeah, much needed point for them on Tuesday, wasn't it? Up at Norwich. Oxford City, though, not going so well. They had a couple of games where they were finding their feet around the kind of town v gown period, but a 0-0 draw away at Marine on Saturday, as we've spoken about, and that 4-0 defeat at Telford on Tuesday night is definitely not going to help. So they're still sat in the relegation zone, but only 2 points off avoiding the drop. So still a long way to go, Colin.
Indeed, yeah. So, right, changing over and see. Banbury United, though, instead of that loss midweek, they're still mid-table on 24 points. And again, Kelvin Langmead in his first season in the dugout at Banbury United, still doing pretty well, I think, so as things stand.
Yeah, down to the Southern League Division 1 Central now for Tame United, similar to Banbury. Middle of the road, sitting 11th with 8 wins from their 16 games. So they've secured themselves pretty much middle of the table. 4-1 win at the weekend, as you can hear about on the podcast as well. But that was a good win to see them to 11th.
Didcot Town, 15th and 17th points again. They've picked up points recently, but you look, they're still too close to the wrong end of the table for comfort. I'm sure Jamie Heapy will want to improve on that position quite soon.
Now, where we have loads of teams, the Combined Counties Premier Division North, Ardley United sitting at the top and Wallingford and Crowmarsh right behind them, as they are highlighted in that lovely gold colour. So they're flying at the top. Hopefully at least one of those teams will be able to go up one automatic and one via the playoffs. And in Kidlington and Milton United as well, there's a lot of different amounts of games played, it looks like, as well. So hard to really tell where you stand at the moment, but Kidlington 7th after being able to get their game on Friday night after a near frozen pitch, and Milton in 8th.
Yeah, but look at that Ardley United there. They only lost 2 games. They've got a plus 27 goal difference and on 41 points. Also, they've got 3 games in hand over their nearest rivals, Wallingford and Crowmarsh. So well done to Ardley United yet again.
Same division, lower end of the table.
Yeah, indeed. So Abbey United 13th, unlucky for some, on 20 points, and North Lee. They didn't do too badly, but they've now dropped down to 17th. So again, they've got, only 3 or 4 points off the drop, I think. So again, North Lee to pick up points soon.
Down to, well, I think step 5 now. United Counties Premier South, Easington Sports. Again, they're at the wrong end of the table as well. They're a fair way clear of the relegation zone, but as you can see, they are 3 games ahead of a lot of teams around them. So they can't be too sure to be safe at the moment. They're on 19 points from 20 games, so they could do with picking up a few points. But as it looks like, a few teams above them as well, it's all a bit tight there. So long way to go for them.
Right, Ulstersport Hellenic League Division 1, Wantage Town up to 3rd on 32 points. Still doing pretty well there.
Yeah, 5-4 win at the weekend against Cheltenham Saracens as well. So a thriller against a team near them in the table, important.
Well, they've been beating teams like that with many, many goals, I think. So they've got a plus 19 goal difference, I think. So well done to Wantage Town.
Yeah, score a lot of goals. Down the lower end of the table, though, in this same division, Hellenic League Division 1, Carterton in there at 14th. They're just 2 points above Clanfield, who are sitting 16th in that relegation spot. And then Tame United reserves with just 1 win from 15 games. They look a long way away from survival. Already 8 points adrift of Shortwood United, and they're 2 games ahead of them as well. So not looking great for our sides in step 6, but hopefully it can get better.
Okay, next up, the Women's National League Southern Division. Oxford United ladies played 10, won 3, drawn 2, lost 5, goal difference of 4, plus points still, so 11 points there. So the wrong end of the table, and again, they've all played the same number of games as you can see, so they need to pick up points again soon.
Good FA Cup run for them, though.
Yeah.
So hopefully that can give them a bit of spirit, and at least they're not Billericay Town with minus 63 goal difference.
Yeah, and I've seen a better Billericay Town against United a couple of years back with Carla Buckingham, and they were much better then, so something's gone wrong for Billericay Town quite clearly.
In the National League Division 1 South-West, that's where Abingdon United are. They didn't have a game this week. But they're there in 5th, 11 points from 9 games. So that's kind of middle of the road in that division. I think there's only 12 teams in that division, so it's not as high as you might think, but still a chance to pick up points. Long way to go. They've got Portishead Town at home this week, and they're not in the top 8, so they should be looking to pick up some points there in National League Division 1 South West.
Southern Region Women's Football League Premiers South Oxford City, women in 8th, and there's got 6 points on the board, but they appear to have games in hand out of Sholing, my brother-in-law's side as well. So interesting, isn't it? I think they should really start to pick up points again as they get back into league action.
Yeah, the FA Cup's just caused a bit of chaos in the games.
We saw that
hasn't it?
with Banbury. Their form dropped off after they got knocked out in the FA Cup this year, and let's hope the same thing doesn't happen to Oxford City women. So there we are, that's the tables and action coming up, as you'd have heard in Fixture Focus this weekend. Don't forget, again, Oxford United are at home to Ipswich on Friday evening, not Saturday. It always catches people out when they have a 12:30 kickoff. We've seen people before scrambling late in the press box because they thought it was a 3 o'clock kickoff. And it wasn't, it's Friday night, so there you go, at 8 o'clock. Blake.
Thank you, Colin. Yes, as usual, we will have our results roundup now from the weekend of football and local rugby all the way through the leagues.
There we are. Thanks to Wes Spearman for the results service this week, and we should send our best wishes to Kieran Bushnell, who got bonked on the head by a cricket ball in the week. So he's a bit accident prone, but we wish him well. He's a bit concussed, but he's getting a bit better. He's certainly been on social media saying that he's feeling a bit better. So hope you are indeed feeling better, Kieran. Right, next up then we change to a sport we've been supporting with a local boxer called Brad Axe. He had a fight at the weekend against Steve Davis at the Gallery in Bristol. He won that fight, and so far he's won 4 out of his 5 bouts again. And I have to say that he's an RAF firefighter. He's turned pro. I don't know whether he's actually still a firefighter or a reserve firefighter, but that was he was doing that as well as getting his career off the ground. And Darryl Woods is a member of the Axe gang, as you can see there, a very proud member of the Axe gang. So well done to Brad Axe, I think. So he looks like a very, very technically good boxer. Certainly we've seen him sparring before. And he looks to have a very good career ahead of him, talks very well as well. So again, it's a funny old business, the boxing. So many different weights and things can get very confusing. So let's hope he does get onto some really big tickets. He has had some big tickets though, and we'll find out when his next fight is. We'll let you know on Oxford Sports Unleashed in a future show. Right, so we're coming towards the end of this show, but we've got our jam-packed show next week. It's going to include, hopefully, Daz King from Didcot Town. Daz King is very much part of the team behind the scenes down at Didcot Town. You'll see him popping up on social media, doing the post-match interviews with Jamie Heapy. So it'd be good to get Daz King in and find a little bit more about Didcot Town behind the scenes. And we've got some cricket coming in as well, haven't we?
Yeah, next week I'll be speaking to Graham Charlesworth, who's head coach of the Oxford University Students Scheme, a side made up of Oxford University and Oxford Brookes students who often play against a lot of pro counties because there's a big funding cut happen to a lot of those schemes. So be interesting to hear Graham's take on of it all, as he's been head coach there for a long time, and he's also father of Ben and Luke Charlesworth, who play for Gloucester as well. So I'm sure we'll get to speak about those.
Yeah, indeed. I think the days when I mean, it's still, I don't know if it's still the case, but it used to be the case when I first came to Oxford that Fenners in Cambridge and the parks at Oxford were first-class cricket grounds. Yeah. You could go and watch, and they used to have touring sides. When I first came to Oxford, there were amazing tourist sides coming, including Australians. I've seen the West Indians playing. I do remember standing behind the practice nets and watching a West Indian fast bowler, when they were fast bowlers, right, when they were on top of their game, bowling, right, and I couldn't see the ball. It was that fast. And at the time, there was a young lad I knew. I was administrator of chemistry. He was an Oxford Blue cricketer. And of course, he got to play against the West Indies. I said, well, I went there, I went to see them practicing the nets, and I couldn't see the ball. I said, so what about you? You went out there as a student cricketer facing a genuine world-class fast bowler. I said, he said, when I got out to the stumps, he said, so my first thought was, what am I doing here? And he said, really, he was just petrified and just tried to do his best. But it was quite amazing. And see the Australians in the parks too, with the Merv Hughes and people. It was fantastic. So, but sadly, I think whereas Oxford University used to be able to field a full squad easily, right, of Blues. Now it's been combined with Brookes for quite some years now. So I don't believe that Fenners and the Parks are still classed as first-class cricket grounds. I don't believe that's the case. But you're quite right. You do get touring sides. They're not touring sides anymore. You do get county sides coming out in pre-season. Yeah, so you see a few. Whether it's the sort of first team or second team, I don't know. But then again, there's so many different formats now in cricket that really, to give people games, certainly early season when the weather is good, right, and it's not too far for, say, Hampshire to come, right, and Northants as well. So yeah, it's interesting. So I'll be very interested to see if Graham's been around the university setup for a long time. It'd be interesting to see his take on those days and how things have changed. I think so. And also the different formats too. I believe there's still a T20 game in the park sometimes too.
Yeah,
that's quite good.
There's a lot of cricket now for university students to be played. And he was a professional himself I think he went to Oxford University himself, and when they had first class status. So there you go. Well, he was probably around that same era. He might have even faced the likes of Malcolm Marshall himself.
Indeed. So it'll be good to hear from him. But that's all for next week. We do hope that Darryl has an enjoyable evening. I think he's watching the Fast Show down in Cardiff. So that's an interesting take on his alternative tonight. Thank you so much for Blake Bint for stepping into his shoes. Also to Patrick Locke for that, and for you two for doing the podcast too, which is available. Shall we test the producer by getting the podcast little thingy up on the screen so we can see what's going on here?
Just to make him work a little bit harder.
Let's see. Yes, there you are. It's not Lock and Ryde's roundup. It's Lock and Binch roundup this week. But there you go. That's a full episode on Spotify for you. With thanks to Wes Spearman as well, and everybody else who's contributed to this show to make it what it is. Thank you also to you for watching this evening. That's about it from myself and Blake Bint. We'll see you next Thursday at 8 o'clock for yet another Ox Sports Unleashed. Bye for now.